African Rural University (Aru) presents a package of appropriate technologies taught at the university in the fields of sustainable agriculture, vermiculture, microbanana propagation technology, indigenous microorganisms, organic fertilizer, organic fodder. Water and sanitation, rainwater harvesting, domestic water pumping, water lifting by a hydraulic ram pump, renewable energy, ethnomedicine, medicinal plant growing, arboretum, preparation, packaging. The students are also introduced to appropriate technologies in the 4IR, which embrace green energy use, less involvement of humans, extensive use of communication technologies such as smartphones and internet and digital control (PLC). During the field practice, Aru students are placed at sub-counties with epicenter managers who are Aru graduates and use the visionary approach to transform communities. During that period, students work with epicenter managers to demonstrate appropriate technologies at selected places in the sub-counties during their month practicum and one-year internship. The communities choose technologies that are appropriate and most relevant to their aspirations and priorities. The appropriateness of the technology is judged by its affordability, reliability, efficiency, low carbon print, and simplicity. Now, let us take a look at the students demonstrating some of the technologies at Aru. We begin with vermiculture under sustainable agriculture.
My name is Sasura Bless, a Year 1 student at African Rural University, a specialist in vermiculture.
Vermiculture is the rearing of earthworms to multiply their numbers for various purposes. And then vermicomposting is the use of earthworms to break down organic wastes to produce manure.
To start up vermiculture, you need a vermi box, you need a vermi cover, polythene paper, plastic net, nails, grass, a gutter. To make the vermi box, you need timber and the nails to build it up. You need the polythene paper to put inside, you pin it inside the vermi box. The vermi cover. For the vermi cover, we use the plastic net. We pin it onto this wood, perforate it so that the earthworms get oxygen. Also, apart from putting the polythene paper inside the vermi box, you also put it on the roof to prevent direct sunlight, to prevent the water when, in case it rains, the water to enter into the vermi box.
And we only allow in limited amounts of water, which we add manually. The vermi box is made in a slanting way because we want the water from the inside of this vermi box, the excess water, to flow over and be collected here in this bucket as the vermi liquid. We realize we have this gutter, so the water from the other side will flow over this gutter and be collected in this bucket. Punch holes at the basement of this box because we want the vermi to flow through and be collected in the bucket there. So we are putting the vermi box cover to maintain dark conditions within the box because earthworms like dark conditions in the bed and earthworms can comfortably come out and feed. So we are putting this cover to prevent against entry by predators. This ash is also helping to prevent the entry of predators, mainly the red ants. You can call this one the growing media. Basically, these are feeds, earthworm feeds. So we put these feeds, the depth of the feeds should not exceed 10 centimeters. If you make it too deep, if you put too much of these things, they will generate heat during the decomposition process and the earthworms will die. But also, if you put too little, say if you put less than 5 centimeters depth of these feeds, that will be insufficient and the earthworms will finish it very fast and they will starve. After putting these feeds, you put water and then you do what you call inoculation. Inoculation is the introduction of the breeding stock. In this box, we started with about 2 kilograms in each of these boxes. So when you come and spread it on top here, they will dig and enter down. They will start feeding on these materials and breaking them down. You realize the cow dung can come maybe in this form, but at a later stage, it will be broken down into a fine powdered material, which we are calling vermicompost. So the earthworms are here. They cannot appear on the surface. They enter inside because they are running away from light. Number 2, they are looking for moist conditions. So they have to push through and enter into this material. This is the red wiggler, which is very good in breaking down organic material into manure. And here, the organic material which we are starting with, which we are using, is cow dung. So we keep topping up this material. Almost every after a week or 2 weeks, you come here and find what you added the other time is all eaten up, and you add. And every week we add 1 bucket. 1 bucket is about 5 kilograms, so we add it here. We want the water to be too much, so that's why we are allowing the excess to flow over and be collected down as vermiliquid. So we have 2 main products from this process of vermiculture and vermicomposting. The first one is called the vermicompost. This is the vermicompost that has already been processed by our earthworms. This one is ready to be applied in the garden.
Here I'm going to show you how we add vermicompost to our crops. This is the vermicompost that I harvested from the earthworms as the byproduct. So I use 2 cups on every plant. And when I'm adding, I don't put directly on the plant, but far like 1 foot, because the roots are not directly on this plant, but they are this side. So after applying the manure, I cover it with soil such that it is only consumed by the plant. Then this is the vermiliquid that we harvested. I also use 1 liter. I add this water such that all my manure is diluted and it reaches the plant very well. This method is very, very good because you don't incur a lot of money. After you have constructed the verm boxes and you have the manure, then you can carry on agriculture very well without incurring too much money, and the soil will remain fertile and you produce all year round.
In this second section, one of the trainers takes us through multiplication of banana species using micro-banana propagation technology.
We teach our students this technology, and when our students go to their communities, they also facilitate farmers through this technology, and it is multiplied throughout the entire community. The technology is simple because it requires low skills and it is not expensive. We'll use the locally available resources to establish the propagator. After uprooting them, you clean them first. You can clean them with water. You wash them. After washing them, then the second step, after washing them, then you can drop them in boiled water to kill pests, like for 30 seconds. Then after that, you cut them into pieces. After you have cut and cleaned the comb very well. Then you plant it in the first chamber. Then you cover it very well with rice husks. You keep on doing watering it on a daily basis. So it depends on the breed or the nutrients that are within the sawdust that you have used. So it starts sprouting. And for example, now like this one, it has produced a number of plantlets. Like this one, if you want to have more, you cut it and divide it like into 2 or into 4. So you put it back in the second chamber. Now, like this one, it has got roots. That means it has grown. And then you pot it. And if they have overgrown like this, these ones, you don't pot them. You just remove them and you take them to the main garden.
In this section, one of the trainers takes us through IMO and organic pesticides.
Measure 6 cups of rice into 10 liters of water. When you put the rice in the water, the microorganisms will be attracted into this water. We have the useful bacteria and the harmful bacteria. By the 2 days, you will have collected enough microorganisms from the atmosphere to your liquid. And put something like a net to cover this bucket of ours so that other intruders don't enter. Then the next day after you have filtered, you will pack your liquid in a bottle. So the end product of this experiment should be looking like this. Add like a half a cup of molasses, a half of this. So that one will also be providing food for our useful bacteria since they are interested in the sugar. We can apply this in those ones who are doing piggery production. We can apply this when we are using the sawdust, as in the beddings in the pigsty. We sprinkle in this end product, which is the IMO. It will be having the microorganisms which are responsible for eating or killing the harmful bacteria in this pigsty of ours. That smell, so even the people in town can practice the animal production like piggery or any other cattle and poultry production. And another thing is in the gardens, it will reduce the use of chemicals to kill these bacteria infections in different types of crops. When you're harvesting, you make sure you harvest the leaves. There are 2 processes of processing this, getting the pesticide from this. You can either use hot water or you can use cold water. This is the second stage, or after gathering. Again, there are various products you can use to make the organic pesticides. So this one was Tephrosia, and this one is neem leaves. And it depends on the materials you have readily available in your community. We get our products we harvested, we pound them using this. We make sure that we add in even the aloe vera to make it more bitter. In case we apply it on our vegetables, is making it unpalatable for the pest to feed on our leaves. After pounding this product of ours, when we are going to extract using cold water, we put in this container, we add in water. You make sure that the water is above the materials you have put in this container. Then when you are not going to use the cold water, you can use these clay pots. You put in what you have pounded. After that, you put it on fire. So when the water gets hot, it will be able to extract the medicinal properties from these leaves to the water you have put in here. Then your product will be ready for use. And like I told you, there are two methods of extracting medicinal properties from plants. One was using cold water, and another one is using hot water by boiling. So this is our neem tree. We add in aloe vera. We also get the medicinal properties from aloe vera, so that it can help us in eliminating the pests from our vegetables and other plants. After cooking, we put it in a bucket, we cool it. After cooling it, we pack it in our containers. So when we are going to use it in the garden, we dilute it in a ratio of 1:1. So if you have like 2 liters, you get 2 liters of water, you dilute it with this concoction or solution.
In the next section, Jennifer explains hydroponic fodder technology.
So the final product of this technology will look like this. You need to select your seeds carefully. You need to carefully mix the seed in water. So the ones that have floated, you remove and discard them. You have now to drain off the water. So after soaking in a sterilizer, you have to remove the seeds and put them in clean water. After the 24 hours, you will now remove the seeds and put them in the germination bag, where they will take about 3 days. The 6th step is planting the seeds now in the trays. So there you cover the seed for 1 to 2 days to facilitate faster growth of the shoots. The first day after germination, this is how the seeds will look. The second day, this is how it will look. The third day, this is how the seedlings will look. And on the 9th day, it will look like this and probably ready for harvesting to feed the animals. Okay, here we are at Aru Dairy Farm. As you can see, they are enjoying.
Water is one of the key things we need in life. In Uganda, there are mainly 2 rainy seasons that come with plenty of water. Meet a team of Aru students explaining technologies for rainwater harvesting, domestic water pumping, and water lifting using a hydraulic ram pump.
I'm going to take you through the appropriate technologies that we are taught here at African Royal University, and after which we transform to the communities during the 1-month practicum and the 1-year internship, and afterwards when we are deployed as epicenter managers to transform the rural communities. But specifically now we are going to look at what we call a hand pump and how we can use a hand pump in rural communities. We are beginning the assembling process. We assemble the bigger valve to the main pipe, and this is how we do it. After fixing the bigger valve to the main pipe, then we get the small pipe. We also assemble it with the smaller valve. You have to be very careful about arrow is here. It shows you the direction of fixing the valve to the smaller pipe. Then next, we insert the smaller pipe with its valve into the main pipe like this, and then this is the adapter. We assemble the adapter to centralize the small pipe. After fixing it very properly and we ensure that it is firm, then we add the handle. And this is our handle. We fix it properly. And the whole process is now done. And now we are going to demonstrate it using our drum where we fixed water. which is going to work as our underground tank. We are going to take you through an appropriate technology where you can tap water from a flowing water source using a ramp pump device. As you're seeing, this is the drive pipe from the water source to the T. Fix our first one-way valve. Then we are going to fix here the second one-way valve. Now we are going to use adjustable spanner to make sure these nipples are tight enough in order we prevent linkages. This tap, it's where we are going to connect the delivery pipe. After fixing the tap, then we are going to fix the hair reservoir up on the T. This hair reservoir must be tightened very well in order not to leak. Also, you have to make sure here on the top here it is tight enough so that the air inside here should not move. Our ramp pump is ready to make action.
We conclude with ethnomedicine at Aru as Grace and a traditional wisdom specialist, TWS. A trainer at Aru explained the technology using the University Arboretum as the laboratory.
This Rikaku thing is a very important component because when you are processing medicine for hypertension and diabetes, you use a combination of these three medicinal plants available now. You break the branches, these ones we are holding. Then you remove the leaves because you are targeting the leaves. Then you put in a clean mortar. Then you pound. After pounding them, then you put on a saucepan. After doing that, then you do the same to another type of medicinal plant which goes along with this one. As it cools down, then you pack it in bottles like this one, this plastic bottle. And for us at African Rural University, we use these bottles which are purchased from the factory. Another person takes 6 tablespoonfuls. Then for a child can take, say, 1 mouthful, equivalent to 3 tablespoonfuls, 3 times a day, or depending on the instructions given to the producer of the medicine.